let's get rid of.
Well, here, we can just pull this chair in. So this will be for folks here. No, it's okay. I just want to make sure that nobody is centered with each other. Just like held in the circle.
If we're sitting in this, you know, if the two of us are more or less in the center, we can get
Absolutely got it.
I completely forgot about that part until
Beautiful. And if you
I like the script, by the way. Where did you get that? Oh my God. I didn't even see that. You may like. No. this one weird trick. Here's
And you can say as you start singing, we're at number 1 on the white sheet. Are you missing one? I can go get you one. You got it? Okay. If you want to share, we can be on the same. We are. Carry you through these changes. I will carry you through these changes. I will. We're the top on your white song sheets. Through these changes, I will carry you. Through these changes, Eyad Seva, Ani Espo, Eyad Seva, Ani Espo, Eyad Seva, Ani Espo, Eyad Seva, Ani Espo. Good Shabbos, friends. My name is Jace Koster. I'm one of our staff here at Shir Tikva, and I'm surrounded on our bima tonight with a phenomenal community of leaders. And I want to give everybody an opportunity to introduce themselves, share your name or pronouns if you like. And then I'm going to open our service with the words of Jessica Wicks, who is another phenomenal leader in our community who can't be here tonight and is sending her love. I'm curious if you could start us and we'll move.
Hi, I'm Emma Stout. I use she, they pronouns.
Hi, I'm Hunter. I use they, them pronouns.
Could we hear that one? My name's Jace. I use they, them pronouns.
I'm Rabbi Joey.
Couldn't hear that one.
This is a good test for all of us. I'm Rabbi Joey. I use he, him pronouns.
I'm Alona. I use he, him pronouns.
I'm Linnea. I use they, them pronouns.
And I'm Samantha. I use she, her pronouns.
These are the words of Jessica Wicks. So it is in my walk of life. I am a woman to most, other to some, non-human still to others. Loved, hated, smiled at, and reviled. Praised and hated, a source of confusion for many. I do not understand it, some say. I do not want to understand it, say others. But life goes on, and love goes on, and hate and fear go on also. To all who hope that my kind will disappear, and those who revel in my difference, what we have not in common, rather than what we do, I smile sweetly and offer this simple reality. I can only be me, and you can only be you, and we can be we or never, but my truth will remain, agree or complain, and from my truth you cannot sever. For in truth to self, I have found truth in others, and the same for love, it is clear. To leave behind that which is me would leave me with nothing but fear. My soul lives and will beyond death, and it is a beautiful soul prepared to love, prepared to live, prepared to dance. If you dance with me, then we dance together. But if you cannot, I shall still dance alone. Tonight we're marking the Trans Day of Remembrance, which is a ritual that started in our community 8 years ago. And we've continued to carry on as a tradition. And it's just incredibly powerful to be in the room with each and every one of you and to open that space to step into our prayer together. We're going to light Shabbat candles. And up in the left-hand corner, or my left hand, which is not your left hand, on that side of the room, there's candles. And I want to invite you, if you are a trans person, if you love a trans person, if you're family to a trans person, to come and light candles. And we'll make time and make room for everybody who wants to come up and light, and then we'll bless together and offer blessings together. So I want to invite you, if you feel called, to come and light candles. And as you come up, I invite you to stay on the bima and around the bima up here if you wish to for blessings. We might need more candles. actually going to invite you to return to your seats for a blessing because there were more of you than I thought. It was such a blessing to have so many people up, and we'll bless in our seats. And I'll set the lighter down. You can find the blessing for lighting candles on page, I think it's 2. It is, in fact, page 2. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu lehadlik ner shel Shabbat. It's an honor and a privilege I don't take lightly to offer words of blessing to everyone who lit candles tonight. In a world where so often for trans folks our praises, our blessings, and our joys are left out from the mainstream story, I want to affirm how important your joy and your love and your connection and your Shabbos lights are. Our sorrows and our loss and our anger is righteous, and it deserves space to be held and cared for. And so too does our tender love for each other, the quiet moments where we kindle candles, where we cook for one another, settle down beside each other. To see everyone here witnessing each other, to be able to offer blessings in community, to stand and sit and rest is the greatest blessing I can think of. We just sung the words, Ve'ad seva ani espol. As you age, as you change, as you grow, I will carry you. And I want us to all feel the shelter of a community and a divine that cares for you, for me, for us so deeply, that carries us through the ups and the downs. I want to invite you to take a moment to look around this room and up on Zoom and just notice this beloved, beloved community. And the real words of blessing are for all of us. And I want to invite us to bless one another, for the kahal to sing, for the community to sing these words of blessing that we just sang, but with the first word changed. Instead of I will carry you, I want to invite you to sing, we will carry you.
We will carry you through these changes. We will carry you through these changes. We will carry you through these changes. We will carry you through these changes.
Can join us on page 12 as we step into Kabbalat Shabbat.
Nekadema
Nariya Hayayayayambai Yadadayayo Yadadayayambai
Can join us on page 16, 5 lines down from the top.
Yiram Hayam Melo
Yiram Hayamu Melo Tevel Beyoshbeva. Let the waves wash over me. Let the waves wash over me. I have already undone. Let the waves wash over me.
We're on your blue sheets, number 1.
Koach gedulat yemincha tatir tzerura kabel rinat amcha savenu Tareinu Nora Ana Bechoa Gedulat Yemincha Tatir Tzerura Kabel rinat amcha sagvenu tareinu nora. Ay, 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 Tatir Tserura, Tatir Tserura, Kaberinat, Rinat Amcha, Sarvenu, Tareinu, Nora.
We'll continue on page 20. Oh my gosh, I missed an Alona. We'll continue with some words of Torah from Alona.
I missed an Alona. Hi, Shir Tikva. Hi, my name is Alona. I'm a trans man sitting in front of you on Trans Day of Remembrance, getting ready to talk to you about the power of remembering and what happens when we allow ourselves to be filled up and transformed by our people. In the documentary Come See Me in the Good Light, we see poet Andrea Gibson, their partner Meg, and their many friends confront Andrea's terminal cancer diagnosis and journey. Throughout the film, we see grief, pain, anxiety, dancing, laughing, and an unbelievable number of candid conversations about dying between people who love each other deeply. In one scene at Andrea's dinner table, a close friend recounts being with her parent who is dying and feeling unable to hold all of the emotions that are coming up for her. She'd been planning to actually walk out of the room with overwhelm and instead called Andrea. Andrea prompted her to name every feeling, love, as it came up. So I tried that too, as I read over the list of names of trans people who have been killed by violence or died by suicide that we're going to lead later as a group this year while I prepared to write this kavanah. Each edge inside of me softened and opened up. It didn't remove or negate the rage, numbness, or sadness, but it helped open a door to the love at the source of those feelings. I smiled imagining some of the stories behind the names, especially when I read nicknames on the list. I felt twinges of pain when names were similar to the names of my friends. I felt the agony of the length of the list. And in the list that I read, there were many name unknowns. And when I read that, I felt a lot of agony around that too. Remembering allows us to literally continue the story of a person who's passed by placing their legacy into a new generation. Andrea Gibson says it a lot more eloquently than me in their poem, Love Letter from the Afterlife, when they say, "Why did no one tell us that to die is to be reincarnated in those we love while they are still alive?" This is part of how we prevent our enemies from erasing us. We make sure that stories about us and the ones we've lost continue to live in the hearts and mouths of other people. Remembering is a powerful tool to combat the moment we're in, politically and spiritually. Raina Yehuda Newman, a trans Jewish comic maker, titled their latest newsletter, "We Cannot Afford the Tragedy," and opened it with this: "Tragedy is a story, a type of story. It is a narrative structured through fatalism and defined by its heartbreak. The story tells us there's no way out, no possibility for transformation. A tragedy is a story we know the ending of before we begin." So I agree with them. We cannot afford the tragedy. My invitation for this TDOR, Trans Day of Remembrance, is to become as porous as possible to naming the feelings we feel tonight as love, to honor our stories and our beloveds, the ones we know and the ones we don't, so intently that all of our anger, numbness, and grief know themselves to also be forms of love. When I co-sign the notion that we cannot afford the tragedy, what I mean is that I cannot tell trans stories with no way out. And I will not tell trans stories that claim to know the end before we begin, when I know that we are the definition of transformation. It's good to be here with all of you in this exact moment, in this exact grief, in this exact remembrance, and in this exact love. Good Shabbos.
We're on page 20.
We'll start with the first verse 3 lines down on the page. As we greet Shabbos, it's also our tradition in this community to burst out of the doors of our hearts, of our physical door of our space on 50th Street, and during the last verse to get out and greet Shabbos if you feel so inclined. Shamor v'zachor b'dibor echad hishmi'anu el hamyuchad Adonai echad hu shemo echad Leshem multiferet velihi holecha dodi likrat kala penei Shabbat nekabel holecha dodi likrat kala penei Shabbat nekabela likrat Shabbat lechu v'nelcha ki mekor haberacha merosh mikedem nesucha sof ma'aseh b'machshavat tehila holecha dodi likrat kala penei Shabbat nekabela holecha dodi likrat kala penei Shabbat nekabela Mikdash melech ir melucha kumitzei mitoch hafecha rav lach shevet be'emecha bacha vechu yachamol alaychem holecha dodi likrat kala penei Shabbat nekabela holecha dodi likrat kala penei Shabbat nekabela hinari me'afar kumi lishibite tifartecha mi ayat ben Yishai beit halachni korba el nafshi ge'ala holecha dodi likrat kala penei Shabbat nekabel holecha dodi likrat kala penei Shabbat nekabela
Kabela Hitoreri Hitoreri Kiva ore Kumi ori Uri Uri Shirda Beri Kevod Adonai Alayich Migla Olecha Dodi Likrat Kala Penei Shabbat Nekabela Olecha Dodi Likrat Kala Penei Shabbat Nekabela
Lecha
Dodi Likrat Kala Penei Shabbat Nekabela Lecha Dodi Likrat Kala Penei Shabbat Nekabela Lo Tevoshi Velo Tikami Matish Tochachi Umatehemi Bach Yechesu Ani Ami Nifneta Airatila Lecha Dodi Likrat Kala Penei Shabbat Nekabela Lecha Dodi Likrat Kala Penei Shabbat Nekabela Vehayu Asesai Verachaku Kol Mevohalaich Yasisalai Elohai Kimsos Chatan Alakala Lecha Dodi Likrat Kala Penei Shabbat Nekabela Lecha Dodi Likrat Kala Penei Shabbat Nekabela Yaminu Small Tifroti Ve'et Adonai Taritzi Ayarish Ben Parti Ben Ismecha Ben Agila Lecha Dodi Likrat Kala Penei Shabbat
Penei Shabbat Nekabela Ateret Balagam Besimcha Uvitzola Tochemune Am Segula Lecha Dodi Likrat Kala Penei Shabbat Nekabela Lecha Dodi Likrat Kala Penei Shabbat Nekabela Hi dum ba da dum ba da 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 dum ba bum ba 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 bum bum ba ya da da dum hi 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 dum bum ba ya
Odi likrat kala, Pene Shabbat nekabela.
Folks, we are moving. Shabbat Shalom, everyone. We find ourselves moving into our evening service. I'll invite folks to root or rise on page 28 as we call each other into prayer.
Baruch et Adonai HaMevorach 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 Leolam Amen. HaMevorach HaMevorach Leolam Amen.
Folks can take a seat. We haven't given, I was leading some youth stuff, youth service before our service, and it reminded me that we rarely give each other sufficient room to wiggle around. So I recommend a quick moment to stretch our bodies as we move into our evening prayers. Wiggling up and down. Left and right. We'll join up together on page 30. We have a chance to bless our way into the evening, into a God who brings darkness into this world. I invite folks to take a moment to notice the darkness coming through the windows, the time change, the cold, the frost that was on some of our windshields for the first time this season. Feeling both the impending cold, but also the warmth of each other's presence. Taking a big breath in together and out. Umavir yom umevi laila, umavdil ben yom ben laila, Adonai tzivaot shemo, El chai v'kayam tamid yimloch aleinu le'olam va'ed, Baruch atah Adonai Hamari On page 32, we bless a God who brings love into this world.
Ihem kayenu ve'orek yameinu
Ve'hem negel ma'alayla ve'ahavata al tasir mimenu le'olamim Baruch atah Adonai ohev amo Yisrael. I'll invite folks to rise or root on page 34.
Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad, Baruch Shem, Kevod Malchuto, Leolam Va'ed.
Folks can be seated on page 36.
Ve'ahavta et Adonai Elohecha b'chol levavcha v'chol nafshecha u'v'chol me'otecha v'chayu hadvarim ha'ele asher anotchi metzavecha hayom al levavecha ושיננתן לבניך ודיברת בם, ושבתך בביתך, ובלכתך בדרך, ושוכבך ובקומך, וקשרתם לאות על ידך, והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך, ובטחתם על מזוזות ביתך, ובשעריך, למען תזכרו, ועשיתם את כל מצוותיי, והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים, להיות לכם לאלוהים. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אדוני אלוהיכם, amen.
We'll turn to page 40. Oh, but first we'll hear a poem.
Bit of a last minute edition. Are you able to hear me now? Wonderful. Okay, so I'll be reading Hannah's Shawl from Aurora Levins Morales from Rimoni. Blessed is blessing, and praise be to praise. My heart rejoices, and I am made strong, as the vine that winds around a broken trunk, and reaches beyond it, shattering from earth to the stars. All the powers of the mighty may be overthrown, and the anguish of the downtrodden vanish like mist. The poor be raised from the ashes, the hungry fed, and the arrogant brought low. For no one, in the end, prevails by force, not even the strong man with his thugs, and not by our railing against our lot, fists raised, shouting our lonely outrage into the dark. Open your eyes. We are not alone. That is the magic. I have wrapped myself in this shawl, woven from my own desire, from the love of all things intertwined, from the opposite of alone. My shawl is made of the gratitude of rain-washed trees and the shiver of dry winds turning sweat to salt on my skin, of how flocks of birds migrate willy-nilly across the heavens, drawn by a wordless longing. So I have called from the depths of my being for a fertile life and been answered. My shawl is of the multitudes, a call and response between toad and constellation, mayfly and ocean swell, microbe and tectonic plate. You, dear one, in your distant city and century, and the flicker of candlelight shining in my cup of tea. For prayer is knit from the bindings between everything that lives. For you may pull my shawl around you, plucked out of all the noisy truth of your life, and wrap yourself in the still and trembling heart of the web. And my prayer, the prayer of a faithful and childless woman, crying out her heart endless generations ago, is the mother of all our prayers.
We sing in the name of the mother of all our prayers, together on page 40.
Banelim Adonai, mi kamocha, nedar bakodesh, nora tehilot,
Kifada Adonai et Yaakov Ugalo miyad Chazak mimenu Baruch atah Adonai We'll sing together for holy protection on page 42, 3 lines down on the page.
Ufros aleinu sukat shlomecha v'tachneinu be'etzah tova milfanecha ve'hoshienu ufros aleinu sukat shlomecha v'tachneinu be'etzah tova milfanecha ve'hoshienu ufros aleinu sukat shlomecha v'tachneinu be'etzah tova milfanecha Ufros aleinu sukat shlomecha v'tachneinu be'etzah tova milfanecha ve'hoshienu.
We'll rise or root on page 44 as we call Shabbos end. V'shamru v'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat la'asot et ha-Shabbat le'dorotam berito la'am v'shamru v'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat la'asot et ha-Shabbat le'dorotam berito la'am Beni uven b'nei Yisrael oti le'olam oti le'olam v'shamru v'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם.
איש ששת ימים
עשה אדוני את השמיים ואת הארץ, ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם.
וביום השביעי
שבת ויהי נפש, שבת ויהי נפש, שבת ויהי נפש, ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. We'll move towards our silent Amidah, starting by singing together on page 46.
Adonai, Svatai Tiftach, Ufi Yagid, Tehilatecha, Adonai, Svatai Tiftach, Ufi Yagid, Ose shalom bimromav, hu yaseh shalom aleinu, ve'al kol Yisrael, ve'al kol yoshvei tevel, yaseh shalom, yaseh shalom. Shalom Aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael, Yaseh Shalom,
Yaseh Shalom, Shalom Aleim, V'al Yoshvei Tevel. We'll have a covenant from Samantha.
Yeah. Thank you. Good evening, friends. I just have a few short words. Sure. Can you hear me now? All right, friends. I have a. Thank you. I'm good. But love the community support. Anyway, I just wanted to offer a few short words of grounding before we bless for healing. In Toldot, our parasha this week, we meet a world full of struggle in families, struggle over identity, and struggle over blessing. Even before Yaakov and Esau were born, Rebecca feels turmoil within her and cries out, "If this is so, why am I?" Our tradition teaches us that God answers her, that the divine meets her right inside that pain. Healing begins not when struggle ends, but when it's witnessed. Tonight, as we mark Trans Day of Remembrance, we hold that truth close in our hearts. We remember those whose lives were taken by transphobia, and we hold all those who carry wounds the world has not cared to see. Their pain too is witnessed tonight. In naming this and in offering this blessing, we're able to accompany those in need of healing on the path towards wholeness and repair, to open up the wells of loving kindness and compassion. So we set our intention that our prayer brings comfort to those who are in need of healing, strength to those who are grieving, and wholeness to those who have been told they are not whole.
You can find our prayer for healing in the bottom, number 2 on your blue sheets. Before we sing these words, let's take a second to take a breath in, and as we exhale, say any of the name or names that you're thinking of today. Let's breathe in and out. Devorah Batmok.
When the world is sick, can no one be well? Well, I dreamt we were all beautiful and strong. When the world is sick, can no one be well? But I dreamt we were all beautiful and strong.
You get to hear some words of Torah from Jace.
Microphone, is it close? Okay, my voice is telling me she's a little on the edge, so I'll speak right there. A long, long time ago, our biblical ancestor Yitzhak, sojourned to Nahal Gerer, a wadi, which is a dry riverbed that his father Avraham had also visited. And it's here that his father had dug wells before he was even born. But those wells, they'd been filled in with earth, by sand, by dirt, by a people who considered the wells a potential threat. You can ask Rashi how, but I don't know what potential threat they could have posed. And I imagine Yitzchak is standing there, when I invite you to imagine with him, breathing in really dry air and looking all around him for evidence of those who came before him, the water they carried, and the ways they sustained themselves. So Yitzchak and his household began a long and intense process of digging these wells back out. And as they breathed new life into the wells, Yitzchak began calling them by their old names, by the names that his father called them. The names had been passed down to him. And Yitzchak didn't only dig out old wells, he also dug right into the wadi, to the dry riverbed itself, and discovered there a be'or ma'im chaim, a well, a new well, a fresh well of living water. And he simultaneously excavated the water his ancestors found previously, and through that process, because of that process, he built the infrastructure to tap into new sources of water and inspiration. Now, when Yitzchak finally travels away from the Nahal Gerer up to Beersheba, he leaves a trail of flowing water behind him. The word Gerer itself can mean to carry with, or to bring something along. And I imagine it's right there in the name that he's carrying the wadi, his father's wells, along with him as he sets off on his travels. As trans people, we know all too well what it's like to arrive in a place knowing our ancestors were there building nourishing wells for us, and return to find them filled in with sand out of fear. To have our books taken off the shelves, banned or burned, we know what it's like, many of us, to find our hands covered with dirt, trying to excavate these resources our ancestors left behind for us. Now, leaving his excavation sites laden with water, Yitzchak does something really wild. It doesn't happen so often in the Torah. He glimpses God. It's literally the word for see or be shown. And God speaks to him. I imagine it's night. He's potentially laying his head on like a water pillow filled, like a water skin filled with water. And God says to Yitzchak, Anochi Elohei Avraham Avicha, Al tira ki itcha Anochi, uverachticha v'hirbeti et zaracha ba'avor Avraham Avdi. God says, I'm your God. I'm the God of the people who came before you, of your ancestor Avraham. Don't fear, because I'm here with you. I'll bless you, and I'll bring many descendants that follow after you, all for the sake of your ancestor Avraham, who served me, who cared for me. In response to Yitzchak's dusty, grimy hands, still covered with sand from digging out well, God affirms that their relationship is anchored right there in ancestry. I'll bless you, I'll be by your side, and I'll care for those who come after you, because both Yitzchak and God retain this relationship with the names of the people who came before him, with Abraham. And we too retain our relationships with the people and generations who preceded us, those who are no longer here with us. We still can find and connect to the divine through those relationships. The name of our parsha this week is Toldot. It's often translated as begetting. Ele Toldot, these are the begettings of Yitzhak, child of Avraham. He begot Yitzhak. And I want to translate that as he made way. He made way for Yitzhak. And we cannot tell our new stories without talking about where we came from, the history of those who begot us, who made us possible. We remember ourselves into the future, and we name ourselves through naming those who came before us. Dr. Kit Hayam writes in their book, Before We Were Trans, A New History of Gender, that the future I want is one that cannot be separated from our history. When I imagine the future I want for trans people and for the world, for everyone oppressed by the way we think about gender right now, that future encompasses our history. I want a future where history provides sources of solidarity and community for people of all genders. I want a future where history is no longer brought out as a stick to beat us with, but provides a gloriously messy set of realities that show us the creativity of what human beings can do with gender. I want a future where we don't always feel we have to instrumentalize history as political activism, but can simply embrace it for the diverse human experience it represents. The Torah is a lesson in remembering the stories of those who came before us and allowing them to carry us into the future. I imagine all of trans history as a Nahal Gerer, and we are all Yitzchak. We are digging out sand, we are reaching new waters, and continually always carrying it with us. When we remember those who came before us, we are digging out wells. When we read the list of names of trans people who died before their time, we are saying, nobody can fill your wells in. Your water will sustain the generations and the generations and the generations and the generations that follow you. We are demanding a future where we are not separated from our history, where our ancestors, our trans ancestors, are not forgotten. We get to glimpse God, our hands full of sand and dust and services like this, communities like this. We're building our altars and we're pitching our tents. We're refusing to see the history of who we are and the people we come from. Nobody here gets stricken from the history books. This Shabbat, on the Trans Day of Remembrance, I want us to notice the sand and the water skins, and may that water be sustenance in deserts that seem really, really dry. May we allow our bones to be weary, because digging wells is hard. It's difficult. May we get to carry our generations today and every day through that wadi, through our own stories and pasts and futures. And may we get to build altars, which is what Yitzchak does after God blesses him, and hear God's constant reminder that they were with our trans ancestors, and so too with us, with those who follow us. May those who have died memories be a blessing and a spark and a fuel to build altars to trans life, to build societies that never fill us in with sand. We carry them with us in our hearts, in our bones, and our water skins. Shabbat Shalom.
Good Shabbos. Shakah. We have an opportunity to bless. I invite folks, if you came here with someone, feel free to cozy up. And Zoom friends, please feel free to beam us some blessings from home. You can find the words of our communal blessing on number 3 on your blue sheets.
Amalach hagoel oti, Amalach hagoel oti likora, yevarech et ha'narim, vayikar revahem shemi, v'shem avotai, V'shem avotai, Avraham ve'Yitzchak, ve'yigdu laro, bekerev haaretz. Yisimchem Elohim kesara, Rivka Rachel v'Leah, Ephraim Menashe, Yivarechecha Adonai ve'yishmerecha, Ya'er Adonai panav elecha v'chunecha, Yisa Adonai panav elecha, ve'asim lecha shalom. I'm gonna try. May we always bestow blessings on each other and all our communities. May the wells we dig connect us to our past and sustain us into the future. May we make for ourselves water pillows leading to inspiring moments of comfort and determination. May we find strength in ourselves and one another. May the memories of our trans ancestors see light even as we create new memories. We will be here digging out the wells until the water is found, and then we will carry it with us so that all may drink. May we hold each other forever in our memories, and may we uplift those who even our community forgets. May our loved ones live on in our memories, our actions, our laughter, our tears, our words, and our dreams. Can I hear a song?
Before we continue with more song, I just want to take a moment for us to beam gratitude in the direction of the voices that have filled this space, each other, but particularly, Jace, your words of Torah, Alona, your record-setting, famous last words, I think first non-rabbi to be doing that chanting, the voices of our leaders tonight, each other's voices and nourishing each other in these times that are brutal. We hear each other, we save each other, we hold each other with our song. Let's continue it together, rising or rooting on page 284. V'hashevota, v'hashevota, elevavech, ki Adonai, Hu Elohim, v'hashevota, elevavecha, ki shechinah, ya Elohim, v'nehemar, v'haya Adonai lemelech al kol haaretz, vayom hahu, yeh Adonai echad, u'shemo echad. Folks can take a seat.
In just a moment. Oh. Before we step into Mourner's Kaddish, where we will read a few different lists of names. We'll offer prayers for peace in Israel-Palestine.
We say the words of Oseh Shalom at this moment in our service as an acknowledgement that we can't say the names of everyone who has died as a result of violence in the conflict that started on October 7th and continues to move on, including this past week when 25 Gazans were murdered. We sing together as a commitment to remember those names and as a commitment to continue to fight for a true ceasefire. Oseh Shalom Bimromav, Hu Yaseh Shalom Aleinu, Ve'al Kol Yisrael, Ve'al Kol Yoshvei Tevel. I'll read a list of names of folks who have died in this community in the last 30 days and at the anniversary of this time in previous years. If you hear the name of someone that you knew and loved, Jace will find you with a microphone if you would like to share just a sentence of story. And then we'll collectively read a list of names of trans folks who have died as a result of violence and by way of suicide over the course of this last year. Today we're in the Shaloshim. We're remembering the first 30 days since the death of Colleen Westland, mother of Bonnie and grandmother of Tristan, Sally Adler, mother of Harry, and Mark Schoenbaum, beloved member of Shir Tikva and husband of Jeanette George. We're in the yard site, the anniversary of the remembrance of Joan Gordon Binder, mother of Jane and grandmother of Emily and Naomi, Harold Brooks, father of Linda, Eva Chernoff Buschenbaum, grandmother of Barbara Ugly, Herb Kerchak, father of Freda, Teresa Darwin, grandmother of Milo, Betty Eisendestat, mother of Thomas, Caroline Feschbach, aunt of David, Gladys Redman, mother of Sherry Harris and grandmother of Shep, Jack Landman Goldstocker, father of Nancy. This is the most exercise that us rabbis get.
I just want to say my father was absolutely magnificent at 97 years old. He went into the hospital on the Thursday before Thanksgiving, and he was supposed to fly to Chicago to have Thanksgiving with me and my family. And then the week after he was supposed to fly to Chicago, he was supposed to go to the opera in New York, and he died the Tuesday before Thanksgiving. And what a great thing for a 97-year-old.
Diane Grout, mother of Jason. Benji Hartman, nephew of Maury. Judith Candler, mother of Jennifer Kahn and Elena's grandmother.
So in many ways, I'm the black sheep in the family. One of the ways that I'm a black sheep is that I decided not to live in New York, and everyone in my family lives in New York. And I have to say that my mother really supported me in doing what I wanted to do and what I needed to do, and that I really miss her when I go through changes in my life, because I know that she would be on the phone encouraging me to keep on going.
Barbara Cass, mother of Debbie Ornstein. Robert Leclerc, grandfather of Seiko. Barbara Lee Johnson, mother of Steve and mother-in-law of Keith. Macy Orman Schick, mother of Rachel. Gertrude Perlman, beloved member of Shir Tikva and mother of Phyllis. Bernice Rand, mother of Neil Gossman. Sam Richmond, grandfather of Betty Fishbane. Sarah Richmond, grandmother of Betty Fishbane. Larry Rochelle, father of Rona. Eldoris Rouquette, great-grandmother of Dexter. Caleb Schellender, father of Kate.
It's been 19 years since my father took his own life, and it's always weird getting into adulthood, missing someone you've met but never really knew. But what I know of him is he had a very strong passion for what was just and right, and for having peace and hope that everybody would live equal. And I think he would be very happy that his yard site falls on such an important day.
Jack Silberman, father of Andrew, father-in-law of Vicky, grandfather of Jake, and grandfather of Michael. Jack Weiss, father of Faith. Thelma Woodson, grandmother of Darren. Are there any other names that folks would want to bring forward today? Before we move towards Mourner's Kaddish, we'll read another list of names of trans folks who have died by violence, by suicide over the course of this last year.
Tonight, we're remembering Cam Thompson, Kaitora Banks, Ellie Stabline, Miss Major Griffin Gracie, and Jay Flores.
Lady Java, Apollo Moon, Roy Mora, Linda Berkera Moran, and Luisa Rivera.
Hope Lisa Youngblood, Zara Weinberg, Gabriel Cam Nguyen, Jack Scratton, Lily Dawn Harkins.
Ella Major is a friend of Vilda, Miles Phipps, Leah Joe, Megan Jordan Credelli, Onyx Cornish.
Emma Slabach, Kamora Woods, Blair Sawyer, Christina Hayes, Carmen Wells.
Tahiri Broom, Malaisa Wright, Aziza Z. Barnes, Kelsey Ellum, Rick Alistair Newman,
Jill Heathers Bouvier, Raven Sied, Bianca Jiggly Caliente Castro Arabejo, Denise Chuker.
Elisa Ray Shoup, Caitlin Renita Benoit, Parker Severius, Sam Norquest, Sydney Sid Lay Phillips.
Erviana Johnson, Kanisha Coco Chantel, Tessa June, Tiara Love, Tori Jackson, JJ Godby, Laura Schuler.
Mika Shabazz, Aubrey Dameron, Artie Cassidy Beowulf Gibson, Charlotte Fosgate, Sunny Hopkins.
Shaparius Dupree, Ahani Walton, Kyla Jane Walker, Rose Machuca, Rebecca Ann Heineman, Leah Smith.
Phoenix Cassetta, Cassie Rea, Nora Horowitz, Michelle Kamerer.
Dream Johnson and Emery Dwyer.
I invite you to root or to rise and join us in Mourner's Kaddish on page 294.
Before we say Kaddish, let's just take one more moment to pause in, to call forward all the names that we read, all the folks that we don't know their names to read. Yitkadav, Yitkadash, Shemei Rabbah, Ve'alma Divrach Chirute, Ve'amlich Malchute, Ve'chai Echon Uvyom Echon Uvchaye Dechol Beit Yisrael, V'agavla Uvizman Kari V'imru Amen. Yehi Shmei Rabbah Mevarach Le'elam Omei Amaya. Yitbarach V'yishtabach V'yitpa'ar V'yitromam V'yitnaseh. Vitadar, Vitale, Vitalal, Shmei Dekusha, Berichu, Le'ela, Minko, Birchata, Veshirata,
Tushbechata, Benechamata, Damiram, Be'alma, V'imru, Amen. Yehi Shlama Rabba Min Shemaya, V'chaim Aleinu V'al Yisrael, V'imru, Amen.
Oseh Shalom, B'ramav, Oseh Shalom, Aleinu V'al Kol Yisrael, V'al Kol Yoshvei Tevel, V'imru, Amen. Folks can sit.
Ay, ay, ay,
Ay, ay, ay.
ay, ay,
I would like to spontaneously call on board member and service leader tonight, Samantha, to read us some announcements.
All right. Thanks, Rabbi Joey, for the warning, and thank you all. and truly, in all seriousness, thank you all for being here tonight. It is just such a sweet, sweet blessing to celebrate trans lives with you all. My name is Samantha Broller, board member, proud congregant here at Shir Tikva. And I'd just like to remind you, as we always do at the end of the service, please return your prayer books to the usher table and do our ushers a solid and separate your song sheets from the seatery. Thanks to all those who made tonight possible, Rabbi Joey, Jace, Emma, Ilona, myself, Hunter, Linnea, for leadership this evening, Jessica Wicks for her opening words, and to Darcy, who helped plan the service, but unfortunately was not able to be here with us tonight. As always, thank you to our Shomrim and security for your steady presence. Find all of our Shir Tikva programming updates in our weekly e-news and on the website. And if you are struggling with food insecurity in the wake of changes to federal benefits or more broadly, we have additional pre-made meals available, as well as access to information about food resources. Also, one-time grants available to households who are struggling. If you're in need of this, please find or email Jace with questions or for more information. You're welcome to connect with me as well. I also work in food justice and can probably point you in the right direction. A few programmatic updates for folks. Next week's Shabbat will be mask recommended. If this isn't the best fit for you, then please join us on Zoom. We have a bunch of adult education courses starting soon. We have training for our Jewish Burial Society on Sunday, and a class on Israeli and Palestinian fiction, and a course on Jewish creative practices starting in the next few weeks. You can find the info on our website. If you have questions, go find Rabbi Joey. A reminder that your community is here to support you. So please, please, please reach out to the rabbis if you encounter a life change so they can activate the Shir Tikva network of support. Please join J-Pride and several other organizations and communities across the Twin Cities for Gathered in Love, an interfaith service of trans solidarity on Tuesday, December 9th at 7 p.m. This service will include music, poetry, and reflections from trans and BIPOC faith leaders, clergy, and community members across traditions. Together, we'll teach, organize, and be visible in our commitment to trans dignity and inclusion. The service will be free and open to all, with a live stream for those who are joining from outside the Twin Cities. Masks will be required, barring a medical need, for this event, and will be available on site. You can register through the J-Pride newsletter or on Outfront's website. Good Shabbos, everyone. Oh, Hunter has another.
Additionally, just a fun fact, if you like dogs, there are going to be therapy dogs on site too that you get to say hi to. So highly recommend. It'll be a great service. It's been months in the planning, and I encourage all of you to join us in whatever way is meaningful to you. It will be at UCC Creekside in South Minneapolis. And I believe there's a parking lot. If you have any accessibility concerns, I believe that you can put that information into your registration on Outfront. If you feel called to volunteer, that is also an option that you can register for. We're still looking for volunteers. And if you have any other questions, come find me after the service or send me an email.
In the model of progressive shul announcements, I will announce one other protest. If you're interested in making good trouble, I believe it'll be at 10:30 a.m. on Wednesday morning at MSP at Minneapolis International Airport. There will be a protest of flights of deportation that are sending our neighbors far away from their homes in the Twin Cities. And workers are also striking. It's both labor, both in support of labor and in sort of our immigrant neighbors. Please, please, please come out. I'll be there. Be great to see you. Terminal 2 on Wednesday. We'll close by blessing some challah and wine and then having an opportunity to schmooze and nosh together.
Kiddush is on page 5. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam borei peri hagafen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav v'ratzavanu v'shabbat kodsho be'ahava ratzon hinchilanu zikaron lema'aseh v'reishit ki hu yom tehila lemikra'e kodesh zecher letziat mitzrayim kivanu v'charta v'yotanu kidashta mikol ha'alim v'shabbat kodshecha be'ahava uvratzon inchaltanu Baruch atah Adonai mekadesh haShabbat l'chaim. Motzi is on a page 2. Oh, it's also on?
Is it 5?
Okay. Okay. 302. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam hamotzi lechem min haaretz b'te'avon.
We rise, humbly hearted, rise, won't be divided, rise,
On your white sheets.
with spirit to guide us, rise, in hope, in prayer, we find ourselves here. In hope, in prayer, we're right here. In hope, in prayer, we find ourselves here. In hope, in prayer, we're right here. And we rise, all of the children rise, elders with wisdom rise, ancestors surround us rise, in hope, in prayer, we find ourselves here. In hope, in prayer, we're right here. In hope, in prayer, we find ourselves here. In hope, in prayer, we're right here. And we rise up from the wreckage, rise with tears and with courage, rise fighting for life, we rise.
Shabbat Shalom, everyone.
dang papers tonight. Like, I kind of keep losing all my things.
Yeah.
That was a beautiful Kabbalat. I
Oh,
liked
thank
your
you.
mini one a lot.
Oh, yours too.
Thank you.